Welcome to Beyond the Books. Today we go into the universe of Agents of S.U.I.T, which leans heavily into corporate spy humor, introducing many words that readers aged 7 to 10 might recognize from the context, but can't define or use in a sentence. Let's start learning vocabulary from Agents of S.U.I.T, Book 1, Cupcake Catastrophe. Cilantro uses her cool chameleon powers to stay inconspicuous while she sneaks around. This word means you are trying your best to blend into the background so nobody notices you are there. If you want to sound like a master spy, you can use the words unobtrusive or unremarkable to describe being very sneaky. The S.U.I.T agents use high-tech tools for surveillance to keep a close eye on the bad guys. It's like being a super watcher who pays attention to every little detail to make sure everyone stays safe. You can also use the words vigilance or scrutiny when you are doing a very careful job of watching something. When their gadgets stop working, the agents have to improvise and find a way to solve the problem right then and there. This means using whatever you have nearby to fix a situation without having a plan ready. Other fancy ways to say you are making it up as you go are extemporize or ad-lib. In the story, the agents get really perplexed when they find super weird clues about a mysterious beat. Being perplexed means you are so confused that you have no idea what is going on or how to solve the mystery. If you want to use even fancier words for being mixed up, you can say the agents are nonplussed or totally befuddled. The opposite of being perplexed is being certain, which is when you know exactly what is happening. The bad guy's big plan is usually to eradicate anyone who gets in their way. To eradicate something means you get rid of it so completely that it can never, ever come back, like making a scary monster disappear for good. If you want to sound like a super smart agent, you can use the big words annihilate or obliterate to describe total destruction. The opposite of destroying something is to establish it, which means you are building it or starting it up for the first time. S.U.I.T is a giant organization with tons of agents, and Cilantro has to deal with bureaucracy before she can even start her mission. This word is a fancy way of saying there are a lot of rules and hoops you have to jump through before you're allowed to do anything. Imagine having to fill out 5 different forms and wait in 3 lines just to get a cupcake. That's bureaucracy. You might hear people call these slow rules red tape. Or you can use the word administration to describe the big group of people who make all those rules. The opposite is simplification, which is when you make things easy and fast. To get inside the bakery without being caught, the agents use subterfuge to fool the people working there. This word is a fun way to describe using trickery or sneaky business to finish a secret mission. If you want to use even bigger words for these tricks, try saying artifice or chicanery. In the beginning of the story, there's a big argument about which agency has jurisdiction over the cupcake mystery. This word describes the special territory or zone, where a group is the boss and allowed to make the rules. It's like how a lifeguard has jurisdiction at the pool, but they aren't the boss of what you do in your living room. If you want to use super advanced spy words for this kind of power, you can say it is within an agency's purview, or even their hegemony. The opposite of having this power is powerlessness, where you aren't the boss of that area at all. Inside the S.U.I.T lab, you'll find a prototype for all sorts of wacky gadgets that aren't quite ready for a real mission yet. A prototype is like a rough draft of a tool or a machine that scientists build to test their ideas and see if they actually work. You can also call a first model like this an archetype or a precursor to the finished version. The opposite of a prototype is the final product, which is the version that is all finished and ready to go. When the agents find something really weird in the cupcake ingredients, they call it an anomaly. This word describes a glitch or a mysterious thing that stands out because it's not normal. To describe something that is totally out of the ordinary, you can use the words aberration or deviation. The mystery gets even crazier when the agents realize someone is trying to sabotage their mission from the inside. Sabotage is when you intentionally ruin a project or a plan because you don't want it to work. Kinda like if someone hid your soccer ball right before a big game just so you couldn't play. To sound like a top investigator, you can say the bad guy is trying to subvert the plan or undermine the team's success. The opposite of this is to assist, which is when you help out to make sure things go perfectly. Every good S.U.I.T mission needs a contingency, just in case the first plan doesn't work out. Think of it like bringing an umbrella to a picnic. You don't want it to rain, but it's your backup plan just in case it does. If you want to use super advanced words, you can call this making a provision for the future or adding a stipulation to a deal to make sure you're covered no matter what happens. The opposite of having a backup plan is unpreparedness, which is when you're totally surprised and don't know what to do. The book is called Cupcake Catastrophe because a small problem turns into a huge, messy disaster for the agents. A catastrophe is when something fails so badly that it causes a lot of trouble for everyone involved. You can also call a giant mess like this a calamity or a debacle. Cilantro gets really frustrated because her mission orders are super vague. It's like being told to go find something without being told what it is or where to look. When something is vague, it means the information is fuzzy and doesn't give you enough clues to be helpful. To describe a message that is confusing or has more than one meaning, you can use the fancy words ambiguous or equivocal. The opposite of being vague is being precise, which is when someone gives you all the exact details you need. While exploring the farm, Cilantro starts to think there is a giant conspiracy going on with the sheep and some aliens. This word describes a secret club plan, where a group of people works together in private to pull off a sneaky trick. If you want to describe a really complex or tricky plot, you can use the words machination or collusion. The opposite of a secret plot is transparency, which is when everyone is being honest and showing exactly what they are doing. In a funny part of the book, the sheep decide they've had enough of the farmer's rules and start a revolt. To revolt means to stand up and say no more when you think a boss or a leader isn't being fair. If you are talking about a big, organized group of people rebelling, you can use high-level words like insurrection or mutiny. The opposite of starting a revolt is obedience, which is when everyone follows the rules and does what they are told. The agency makes sure every agent wears a special vest as a precaution before they head out into the field. A precaution is a safety step you take before anything goes wrong, like wearing a helmet before you get on your bike. In the spy world, you might call this making a provision for safety or setting up a safeguard. The opposite of being careful is negligence, which is when you are careless and don't take any safety steps at all. Cilantro is very skeptical when S.U.I.T. first gives her the mission because she thinks they might just be playing a joke on her. Being skeptical is like having a detective brain. You don't just believe whatever someone tells you. You want to see the evidence first. Other ways to say you are feeling unsure are being dubious or even cynical about a story. The opposite of being skeptical is being trusting, which is when you believe what someone says right away. Cilantro shows us the power of perseverance by taking her boring cornfield mission very seriously. Even when the case is hard and confusing, she doesn't quit. She keeps working until she finds the hidden alien secret. This lesson teaches us that if we stay focused and keep trying, even when things are tough, we can solve the biggest mysteries in the world. A big part of this book is about identity, which is a fancy word for who you are. Cilantro is a chameleon, and sometimes she feels like she doesn't fit in with the other agents at S.U.I.T. headquarters. But she learns that her unique powers are exactly what makes her a great agent. This shows us that being different is actually a superpower, and you should always be proud of what makes you you. In a really funny part of the book, the sheep decide to stand up for themselves because they want to be treated fairly. This is a lesson about fairness and social justice. It shows us that everyone's voice matters, and that it's important to stand up for ourselves and our friends when something isn't right. Being a good agent means making sure the world is a fair place for everyone. Since Cilantro is a chameleon, she is the master of adaptability. This means she is really good at going with the flow when a mission changes. Whether she is changing her skin color to hide or changing her ideas to solve a new problem, she stays calm. This lesson tells us that even when a catastrophe happens, we can handle it if we are willing to be flexible and try a new way. Thanks for joining us at the Beyond the Books channel. Remember, being a great reader is just like being a spy. You have to look closely, ask questions, and never stop learning new things. Keep using these powerful words in your own stories, and you'll be a master of language in no time. Please leave us a comment on your favorite spy word.